Why negative thinking is your greatest enemy. Negative thinking is not just a mood. It is not just a passing cloud that drifts across your mind. It is a predator. It stalks you silently. It feeds on your doubts, on your insecurities, on your fears. If you let it grow, it doesn't just live inside your head. It takes over your entire life. Think about it. Every human being is born with potential. Every child begins with curiosity, with imagination, with energy. But somewhere along the way, the voice of negativity enters. Maybe it came from parents who told you, you'll never amount to anything. Maybe it came from teachers who said, you're not smart enough. Maybe it came from the cruel comparisons of society whispering, you're not good-looking enough, not rich enough, not talented enough. And slowly, that voice becomes your own. You start saying it to yourself. You don't need anyone else to beat you down because your own mind is already doing the job. Here is the tragedy. Most people never even notice it. They think those thoughts are reality. They think that voice is truth. But it isn't truth, it's poison. Jordan Peterson often reminds us, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Why? Because comparison is the fuel of negative thinking. The moment you start measuring your worth against the impossible standard of others, you are already defeated. Negative thinking kills more dreams than failure ever will. Failure teaches. Negative thinking prevents you from even trying. Imagine two young men standing at the foot of a mountain. One looks up and says, this is going to be brutal. I'll probably fall. I might embarrass myself. I might fail. He talks himself out of climbing before he even takes the first step. The other looks up and says, this will be brutal. I will fall. I will embarrass myself. I will fail, but I will also learn. I will grow stronger. And every step I take upward, no matter how small, is victory. Who do you think reaches the top? The difference isn't talent. It isn't luck. It isn't even strength. It is mindset. Negative thinking is the silent assassin of greatness. It hides in plain sight, disguised as caution, disguised as realism, disguised as honesty. People will even defend it. I'm not negative, I'm just being realistic. But realism without hope is just despair. And despair is death. So today, let us declare war on negative thinking. Not because it is unpleasant, not because it feels bad, but because it is lethal. Because it robs you of your future before you have the chance to live it. This journey, killing your negative thinking, is not about pretending everything is fine. It is not about empty positivity or fake smiles. It is about something far deeper. It is about taking responsibility for the battlefield of your own mind. Because if you don't fight the war inside, the world outside will crush you. But if you win that war, no external force can truly defeat you. This is where it begins. The recognition that negative thinking is not a minor inconvenience. It is the enemy. And like any enemy, it must be confronted, exposed, and destroyed. The nature of negative thoughts: understanding the enemy before you can kill something, you must first understand it. You cannot defeat what you cannot define. So let us ask, what is negative thinking? At its core, negative thinking is a pattern of perception. It is not reality itself, but a distorted filter through which you view reality. Imagine wearing glasses smeared with dark oil. No matter how bright the world actually is, everything looks dim, hopeless, and ugly. Negative thoughts are not facts, they are interpretations. And yet, the human brain is wired in such a way that thoughts often feel like facts. That's what makes them so dangerous. The psychology behind negative thoughts: our minds evolved for survival, not for happiness. Thousands of years ago, when human beings lived in forests and savannas, noticing danger was more important than noticing beauty. If you failed to notice a tiger in the grass, you died. But if you failed to notice a sunset, nothing terrible happened. So the brain developed a negativity bias. It pays more attention to threats than to opportunities. It remembers insults longer than compliments. It replays failures more vividly than victories. This bias was useful in a world of predators and scarcity. But in the modern world, it becomes a curse. Instead of protecting us from danger, it convinces us that danger is everywhere, even when it isn't. And the cycle begins again. This is why Jordan Peterson often emphasizes responsibility. Responsibility breaks the cycle because it forces you to act despite your doubts. And when you act, you generate evidence that contradicts your negative beliefs. The mask of realism, the most seductive form of negative thinking, is when it disguises itself as realism. A man says, "I'm not being negative. I'm just being realistic." The world is hard. People are cruel. Success is rare. But look closely. His realism does not empower him, it paralyzes him. True realism acknowledges difficulty and possibility. False realism acknowledges only difficulty. It's like looking at a locked door and saying, "It's locked, therefore it will never open." That is not realism, it is defeatism. Realism says, "It is locked, but keys exist. And if I do not have one, I can create one." The weight of words. Another thing we must understand. Negative thoughts are not harmless whispers. They carry weight. They shape your identity. If you tell yourself every day, "I'm stupid, I'm weak, I'm worthless," those words carve grooves into your brain. They form neural pathways. And the more you repeat them, the deeper those pathways become. Soon, they are no longer just thoughts. They are beliefs. And beliefs shape destiny. This is why killing negative thinking is not optional. It is urgent. If you let those thoughts remain, they harden into chains. Shadows in the mind. One final truth about negative thoughts. Many of them are not even yours. They are the echoes of voices you heard long ago. The teacher who mocked you in class. The parent who compared you to your sibling. The friend who betrayed you. The culture that told you what you should be but are not. Those voices linger, disguised as your own. They whisper inside your skull as if they belong to you. But they do not. They are shadows, ghosts of someone else's insecurity projected onto you. The task, then, is to separate your authentic voice from the noise of these ghosts. To realize, this thought does not belong to me. I don't have to keep it. I don't have to obey it. The mission, now that we've named the enemy, the mission is clear. Recognize negative thoughts for what they are, distorted perceptions, not reality. Expose their origins, old voices, old wounds, old lies. Break the cycle by acting in spite of them. Because the moment you see them clearly, their power begins to fade. Killing negative thinking begins not with blind positivity, but with truth. And truth, no matter how difficult, always liberates.